Some skyrocketing first Bowmans, one of the greatest records of all time broken, and a women's basketball card that isn't Caitlin Clark are driving markets forward this week. Thanks for joining us at Hot in the Hobby. I'm Mr. Hollywood. That's Joe Nasty. And remember, our show is powered by data from the Market Movers website and app. So if you want the best way to comp cards, do your research, and be in the know, I highly recommend you sign up on their website. Bonus, if you use the code Hollywood, you'll get a free 14-day trial and 20% off on your subscription for life. For life is pretty good.
Decent amount of time,
decent amount of time. Hopefully. But let's hop right into hot cards of the week, starting with Kristian Campbell, the second baseman, outfielder for the Boston Red Sox. He's a little bit of a utility guy.
More outfield these days.
His 2023 Bowman Draft first chrome autograph in a PSA 10, a PSA 9, and raw condition. Let's look at the PSA 10 first. It is up 66.7% over the past 2 weeks. It is now $625. Wow. The PSA 9 is up 107% to $320, and the raw is up 67.3% to $220. So Kristian Campbell, I believe, has officially overtaken the PSA 10 first Bowman autograph price of Roman Anthony.
Wow.
He is 22 years old. He throws right, bats right. He is 6'3" if you're not familiar with him. But so far, and probably the reason why these cards are going so crazy right now is so far in 2025, and these numbers are going to be a little off when this episode actually airs, but he's 11 for 26. He's hitting .423 with 2 homers, 5 RBIs, a stolen base, and a 1.323 OPS. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, that is not going to continue for the rest of the year. But in the minors, he had 498 at-bats, so he was not in the minor leagues long. And he had a .327 average with 21 homers, 82 RBIs, 27 stolen bases, and a .985 OPS. He is the number 6 overall prospect in all of baseball.
Yes.
After lighting the minor leagues on fire last year. And has he hit the ground running in Boston in his major leagues career so far. Now, we talked about this before we came on the air. He signed a big contract. Well, not a big contract. He signed one of those, I'll pay you enough where you have to think about signing it.
Yes.
But you're going to be worth way more than this in the future.
We'll change your life, but we know that there's better value down the line that you could be passing up on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's just call it what it is. This is an Atlanta Braves contract.
It is. It's a Strider. It's a Michael Harris. It's a little lesser of it's an Acuna.
Yeah, this is an Atlanta Braves contract. 8 years, $60 million. I think they paid Ceddanne Rafaela 8 years and $50 million, something like that. He kind of reminds me a little bit of a really young Mookie.
Yep.
He's got the power speed combo thing going with average. And at the end of the day, you have to like what Boston is doing. They're filling that roster out with a lot of proven veterans, right? And do they have a lot of young talent that is controllable for a long time now at a cost-effective amount. Obviously, Bregman endeavors, but maybe Casas has a healthy year. Ceddanne Rafaela had a tough start, but I think he had a good game today. So you have Jared Duran there.
All-star, yeah.
And you don't forget, you got Roman Anthony waiting in the wings. As you said earlier as well, you have Marcelo Meyer waiting in the wings as well. They just extended Garrett Crochet long-term. So I like where the team is headed. There's a lot of talent here.
Yeah.
Do you think these cards are expensive?
Yeah, they are.
Do you think it could be time for where this is a little safer than prospecting with Kristian Campbell? Is he worth ponying up some money into just in case he does blow up?
You took a lot of the words out of my mouth. I looked up during spring training. I was like, oh my God, this Red Sox roster is pretty solid. If not, maybe the favorites in the AL. I know the ESPN experts poll before the season started actually ended up, and it's because a lot of votes go to a lot of different places, but the Red Sox were the voting favorite to represent the AL in the World Series.
Right.
You said it, the savvy vets. As much as I don't like him, I do like the move to get Bregman.
Yep.
Duran is an all-star. And look, you're not the first person to talk about the Mookie Betts comp. He's actually taller than Mookie at 6'3".
A lot taller.
But he is a Tennessean who plays infield and outfield and is coming up and is very wiry, and the swing with the quick hands is very reminiscent. It's hard not to make that comparison. And as we were going over the contract situation, I was like, someone's betting on themselves here. But weirdly, it's not the player betting on themselves. Mm-hmm. The team is betting on themselves, saying, we're paying a lot for a technically unproven commodity, and we think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And in about 8 years, this is going to be the steal of the league. It's weird for an organization to be betting on themselves. He's part of the holy triumvirate in baseball right now. Roman Anthony's the huge catch on his way. Marcelo Mayer's on his way. Rafaela's big time. Wilyer Abreu
is having an unbelievable year.
Is a really, really good hitter.
Yeah.
And which is all of this to say, wait on Kristian Campbell. Because when Roman Anthony comes up, which will probably be in a couple weeks, all the focus will shift.
Yeah,
and true. I think Kristian Campbell is going to have staying power. I think he's a good player. Yeah. He's not going to play infield for a while. He's going to stay in the outfield. He's making really athletic plays out there. When Mayer, when Anthony come up, when the shine shifts elsewhere, that's when you pounce. I think wait on Kristian Campbell right now, because all this to say, I think he's worth being a part of, but not right now.
Yeah,
not right now.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Waiting for Roman Anthony to come up and shift the spotlight. Maybe Ceddanne Rafaela starts to have a little bit of a better year as well. But when's the last time one of these 8-year contracts worth $60 million or $80 million or something like the Brewers gave one to Churio, right?
Yeah, they did.
And you saw the Braves have been doing it for years. When's the last time one of these contracts hasn't turned out to be a huge steal?
Man, teams know what they're doing.
No, they do.
Especially the Braves.
Yeah, and so I think this one is for sure. Kristian Campbell is for sure.
Did Tampa do it with your favorite shortstop?
No. That was a big extension.
That's what. So, but like, did they?
Wasn't it?
They did it right. Like, technically, it didn't work out because he's a bad boy.
Well, yeah, but it worked out because he was he had the talent. We're talking about Wander Franco. He had the talent. But moving on to hot card number 2, and that is Ivan Herrera. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's the catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. His 2020 Bowman Chrome first autograph in a PSA 10, which has a population of 203, was up 67.6% over the past week to $117 per card. He's 24 years old. He's only 5'11". He's right, bats right, throws right. He is hitting 400 so far this year with 4 homers, 11 RBIs, and a 1.555 OPS. Herrera quietly, I'll say quietly, but he quietly had a 301 average last year and an 800 OPS in
How about that?
Over 229 at bats and a 1.7 WAR in half a season. So this guy had, in a full season, would have had over 3 WAR, having an OPS over 800. Just no one really paid attention because it was the Cardinals. In the minors, he hit...
It's a weird thing to say about the Cards.
Yeah, I know. But in the minors, he hit 280 with 49 homers, 272 RBIs, and an 826 OPS over 1,500 at bats. If you look at his baseball savant statistics from last year, from 2024, he was not qualified as a hitter because not enough at bats. But he is pretty significantly above average in pretty much all the batting categories. And if you look at 2025 so far, it's been pretty crazy. Obviously, what he's doing is probably not sustainable, but he's also a good blocking and framing catcher as well, although his arm is not. He is not throwing guys out with a base pass.
It's new.
Yeah,
it's a wet newspaper back there.
We don't have the greatest arm, but catchers that provide this sort of hitting value to the lineup, there's not a lot of them in Major League Baseball.
Getting fewer and fewer as the years go on. I'm not going to lie. I hope he has a wonderful career, whatever. He also got hurt on Sunday in their doubleheader against the Red Sox. Something to keep an eye on. I am a known hater of the St. Louis Cardinals and all things for the city of St. Louis. It's got terrible architecture. It's got no cuisine that's worth a darn. And the arch...
We don't need to hate on St. Louis anymore.
Is overrated. And then... so then you get to the Dirty Birds. My favorite thing about Ivan Herrera is that it's a clear distinction of, wow, did we mess up with Wilson Contreras? You know what I mean? And Wilson is hitting about 100 right now. He has no home runs. So his injury is a big torpedo to the Cardinals season right now. Last year they brought in Contreras and immediately like, oh my God, he can't catch anymore. Yeah. And then they got rid of Goldschmidt and Wilson Contreras is now a first baseman.
Yeah.
Herrera, you got to keep an eye on this injury because it's got pretty foreboding headlines about it. But that's a hell of a start for a catcher. And you said it. The numbers last year, albeit not quite qualified.
They were impressive.
And he's also maintained it after a couple weeks, which means he knows what he's doing up there.
Yeah. This isn't just a lucky week or two. You know, we've now seen half a season plus of Herrera, and it has been pretty darn good.
Yeah. Who does he look like? He looks like some... Is it David Peralta? Like, I can't put my...
I know what you're saying.
Like
I feel like he's a mix. He's a mix of, like, Pujols and...
I look at his picture, I'm like, he looks like someone else in the majors, and I can't put my finger on it.
But moving on to hot card number 3.
Not important.
And that is Alexander Ovechkin, the left winger for the Washington Capitals, because he is now the all-time NHL leading goal scorer.
Unbelievable.
And we are looking at his 2005 Young Guns rookie card, his Upper Deck Rookie Class rookie card, his Upper Deck Victory rookie card, and his Upper Deck Stars in the Making rookie card. Taking a look at this chart now, his Young Guns is up 60%. His rookie class card is up 49.6%. The Victory is up 16.2%. And the Stars in the Making is up 32% here. Of course, as we said, he broke Wayne Gretzky's record of 894 career goals. He is sitting at 895 now. And it was really quite an amazing moment to see Gretzky there following the chase, to see him take that photo with Ovi and the 894th puck, and to have him say some words on the ice afterward was really cool. And man, like you have to take your hat off, tip your hat to Wayne Gretzky, who apparently Wayne Gretzky's father told Wayne to be just as proud of the guy that breaks your record as I am of you for breaking this record. And it really, it kind of felt that way.
Yeah.
Wayne was all smiles. Maybe when he goes home tonight, he's probably, he's like, darn it.
Yeah.
But Ovi has 42 goals in 61 games as like a 93-year-old. The Caps lead the Eastern Conference. They're second in points overall, only to Winnipeg as of the filming of this. Maybe that changes when this comes out. I don't know if you guys remember, but the exact card these cards were our high-risk, high-reward card about a month ago. And we told you it would come down to whether he broke the record or not. Well, he broke the record. And here's that spike. It's up another 40 to 50% since we talked about it then.
Yep.
And for the record, I will say, I did say that he would break this record this year a month ago, when it didn't seem likely.
You did say that.
But I've learned to not bet against people that are the greatest of all time at doing something.
And he is the best goal scorer. He's a rifleman. I'm not going to lie. I like the NHL a lot. I'm not a diehard right now. It's been tough to follow along recently. And the Kings are good. But I did not realize Ovechkin was in striking distance entering the season.
Oh, yeah.
And then recently.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize this was a record that was attainable. I figured Wayne Gretzky, the very good one, there's no way anyone's going to manage to top what Wayne Gretzky ever did.
Yeah.
And the other weird thing is, Ovechkin's unbelievable. He's been a Hall of Famer for years already. He finally got his cup a couple seasons ago. But to me, this has been Sidney Crosby's generation. Mostly for his all-around play.
Yeah.
And he has more cups. But this is a hell of a record. The discussion probably really needs to intensify. Probably north of the border, and they'll take care of that for me.
Yeah.
But for me, I just assumed Sydney, 1A, And then Ovechkin, like a close second, if not like 1B.
Where do you put Gretzky?
Oh, not all time. I think Gretzky's still number one. I just mean of like this generation.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but this is the biggest record in the sport.
Yeah.
Realistically, right? I mean, I guess you could say all-time points, but I think the crazy thing is, like, even if you take away like all of Wayne Gretzky's goals or something, he's still number one all-time in points.
So he's he's the best.
Like there's no doubt that Wayne Gretzky's the best hockey player ever, right?
Sure.
But I think you could really can argue that Ovi is the best player of this generation. I mean, it basically comes down to him and Crosby, right? But
yeah. The funny thing about Ovechkin, and I think there was a season where his plus minus was a negative, but he led the league, in goals, because your plus minus doesn't get affected on the penalty, on the power play, or on the penalty kill. So he was just ripping power play goals.
Yeah.
But on the ice, when he actually had to play like defense,
yeah, that's funny.
he wasn't doing so hot. So that's why I probably put Sid ahead of him.
Yeah.
But as a goal scorer, Ovechkin's the
well,
rifleman.
who do you guys think is ahead on that comparison? Alex Ovechkin or Sidney Crosby? Let us know in the comments below. But moving on to hot card number 4, and it is Paige Bueckers, the guard for the Yukon Huskies. This is Bueckers, right?
Beckers.
Is it Beckers?
It is.
It is?
It is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that actually makes sense. It's Paige Bueckers, 2023.
She's from Minnesota.
Bowman Chrome U, first Bowman PSA 9. We're going to look at the 9. Because it's up 31.5% over the past week to $35 per card. And it is going to move up higher now than that. And I'm telling you, it's going to move up a lot higher than 31.5%. Because UConn just won the NCAA Women's D1 Championship
How about that?
today.
It's good to see a small program come through.
Yeah, a team that we've never seen win. They haven't won since 2016. Give them a break.
For them, that is eternity.
Yeah, but they did beat South Carolina in the NCAA Championship. They stomped my Bruins in the Final Four by like 30.
Did the same thing to, USC, to South Carolina.
Yeah, that's true. But Paige Bueckers was insane in the NCAA tournament. She averaged 26, this is before the championship game. She averaged 26.4 points, 3.4 assists, 3.6 rebounds, 3.2 steals, 1.2 blocks on 55% shooting. She shot 52% from the three-point line in the NCAA tournament. She's a lock to be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft, where she will most likely be headed to the Dallas Wings.
The Wingdings.
The Wingdings. That was always a crazy font on, Microsoft Office?
Mm-hmm. That was my go-to.
Yeah. But just another incredible athlete. She has a great personality. She has this super kind of confidence about her.
Yeah.
She's very competitive. She makes her teammates better. Paige Bueckers is another huge chip for the WNBA and its rise to further popularity. She's going to be, I'm telling you, like Caitlin Clark, like kind of set the WNBA world on fire and the women's sports world on fire.
100%.
Paige Bueckers is going to compound on that because Caitlin Clark is not the best player in the WNBA. She's not.
Not yet.
Not yet, right? But that doesn't matter. And so Paige Bueckers, when she enters the WNBA, she will not be the best player, but the buzz around it. And don't forget, the Sparks will get Cameron Brink back next year as well from that torn ACL, I believe. This is looking good for the WNBA. This is looking really, really good and looking really good for Paige Bueckers, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's going to go to a pretty big market. Look, if you're big enough, it doesn't necessarily matter because Caitlin Clark went to Indiana, and she transcends whatever team
Exactly.
she's on. Paige Bueckers was the original It Girl. She was the hot recruit that I can remember. I think she was in, the whole thing was she and Chet Holmgren both came out of Minnesota. If not at the same time, 1 year apart, because Paige is 23 now and Chet is 22. But
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know. And Chet's been in the NBA doing his thing for about 2 or 3 years now. Missed a year with injury, of course. She was a huge deal, and she was ripping it up before her injury.
Right.
You're right. Like, she's going to go in. This is a great cherry on top of a really good college career.
Yeah.
And she's going to go to the WNBA and be the next big thing before Juju gets there, Juju Watkins. And, like, we're starting to see the women's game, the WNBA is really starting to stockpile
Stars.
megastars.
Young megastars.
Young megastars who are not even going to be in the prime of their career. Like, in the next 10 years, the battles of Clark versus Bueckers versus Juju are going to be through the roof, while women like Kelsey Plum and Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu are still doing it big. Like, it's going to be, and Cameron Brink.
Yeah.
Throw her in the young guns category.
Right.
And I didn't even mention Angel Reese. It's going to be exciting.
This is a recipe for success in the WNBA, and not just on the court and by viewers and sponsors and money and all of this, but it's also a matter of you now have a lot of big chases in a lot of WNBA products, and like WNBA Prism did very well. WNBA Select did very well. Those are products that historically have not been good at all, right? Or no one buys them, or they didn't exist, right? That not only do they exist now, but they sell out like fast.
Very
right?
cool.
But I mean, Paige Bueckers, man, like what an amazing story. What a tough career. You remember she came in as a freshman during COVID.
Did she?
And so they had the whole COVID year, and then she tears her ACL.
Yep.
And then she tore something else like the following year or something. I mean, and then lost in the national championship game her sophomore year. I mean, just an incredible story, really.
For people who play at UConn, losing in the championship game is one of the greatest setbacks you can have.
Yeah, that's true. But let's move to our last hot card of the week, and it's Elly De La Cruz, the shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds.
I was hoping we would talk about him. I've missed out on speaking on Elly De La Cruz.
Yeah, it's like every other week. His 2022 Bowman Paper Prospects first PSA 10 and Chrome first PSA 10. The paper first PSA 10 is up 51% over the past week to $41.50 per card, and the Chrome version of that is up 19% to $60 per card. He's hitting .250 so far with 2 homers, 8 RBIs, 2 steals, and a 772 OPS. The big one here is that Elly has officially made the change to the torpedo bat.
Has he? Wow.
And promptly after making the change to the torpedo bat, had a 4-for-5 day with 2 homers and 7 RBIs and a stolen base all in the same day. That's his whole season essentially in one day. So that performance, along with the torpedo bat hype, have his cards kind of jumping right now, although I think he's 1 for 16 since that game. But that's Elly De La Cruz in a nutshell, right?
Electric, amazing.
We've talked about him so much. Yeah, he's so electric, so amazing, but the ups are insane and the downs are also insane.
Crater.
But yeah, if he figures out a more consistent approach at the plate, then yeah, obviously, he's like a perennial MVP candidate for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Right? But that's kind of what it is. It's kind of what it comes down to.
Always. We may not have enough time, and maybe you have stronger opinions, but people know how I feel about Elly. I agree with you. If he puts it together and is consistent, he can be an MVP candidate. Point blank, period. I personally don't trust that he can be consistent. What I was going to ask is, how do you feel about the torpedo bats? I'm not sure.
I honestly don't think the torpedo bats are. Here's the thing. I feel like they could be.
He has 11 strikeouts in 10 games. He's the same.
11 strikeouts in 10 games is actually an improvement.
You're right.
It's actually an improvement.
1-to-1 is much better than 2-to-1.
Yeah, exactly. I think the torpedo backs maybe could help players that tend to get that hit the ball not off the end of the bat as much.
When they get jammed.
That get jammed a little more. Mm-hmm. So I could see it being helpful in that scenario, but I don't know how it affects the swing weight, because you're taking weight off the end of the barrel. Does it make the swing weight lighter is my question.
Supposedly not.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. We might have to do a whole segment on torpedo bats. We might have to get one.
Huh.
And
are they for public sale?
And film us in a batting cage swinging with a torpedo bat.
Doesn't matter. I don't get jammed.
But that'll wrap things up for us here at Hot in the Hobby. Hope you enjoyed this week's hot cards driving markets forward. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us, and we appreciate you guys. If you have comments or questions, we do reply to them. So feel free to comment down below and enjoy that 20% off Market Movers for life with the coupon code Hollywood. So until next time, Mr. Hollywood, Joe Nasty, out.